Hello, welcome to Craft for the Drafts episode on the Geelong Falcons and previewing their season ahead as part of our Coates Talent League yearly previews. And to do so with me is Craft the Draft analyst Jonty Ross Smith. Jonty, how are you?
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Good, good. Very keen to dissect the Geelong Falcons. Always an intriguing side to see how they're unfolding and the prospects that emerge from the Geelong region. And coming off a year where they were minor premiers, couldn't quite keep up the same level of form come finals, but they have plenty of names from last year's campaign who are hitting their draft campaign this year. And there's certainly going to be players to watch. One of them in particular will be Josh Lindsay, quite a versatile asset who ended his campaign on a high, taking out shared best on ground honours in that grand final day Future Stars game. How do you kind of see his role and I guess prospects developing over the course of 2025?
Yeah, I think we'll see him continue to build on what he did on that grand final day. I think that was just a little glimpse into what he could become. So yeah, consistency will be the key for him this year. I think clearly his best position early on in his senior career, he probably reaches AFL, but whatever level it is at will be off the half back line. He's got such a precise kick. He sees the game so well and assesses his options so quickly, which really lends itself to playing that position. But I think Geelong will give him every opportunity through the midfield as well, just to show he can win a contested footy, and he's got that ability forward of centre and to cover the ground as well. He's got the tank. So yeah, I think there's a fair bit to like about Josh Lindsay. Like I said, we saw it on AFL Grand Final day, and yeah, there's great upside.
Another member from that game and from the AFL Academy as well as Lindsay is Ben Rongdit, Geelong NGA player. The Cats haven't had too many from their NGA programs really pushing through as draft chances early into the year, and he's coming off a bottom age season that was interrupted through injury, but he seems like a player that has great upside as a nice kind of flank asset.
Yeah, absolutely. A sort of a defender who has great athleticism. He's got a great vertical leap. So he's sort of, I think, 186, 187 in terms of centimeters. Plays a fair bit taller than that as a result of his ability to get off the ground. And then, yeah, his pressure is immense. The next step for him is probably just continuing to fine tune those fundamentals, the kicking efficiency and those sides of things. But certainly the athleticism bodes itself well. And then, yeah, the pressure too. So he's willing to do the hard yards defensively. So, yeah, add an attacking component to his game and combine that with his speed. And yeah, there's plenty to like. Like you said, yeah, had the ankle injury last year. So hopefully he gets a clean run at it this year. According to people around Vic country as well, he was probably the one that brought the group together. So a good cultural sort of connector around footy squads, which is someone you always want to have in your team.
Another Falcon of focus will be Hugo Mikunda. Interesting to see how his game's developed, particularly over the last 12 months. But where do you see him taking his game in 2025?
I think we'll see him play a fair bit more midfield in 2025. That will enable him to, like we talked about with Lindsay, showcase his tank, but also showcase that acceleration from stoppage. He's got great speed. He was one of the quicker players who tested at the 2024 Coates Talent League testing days. At the time of recording, we don't have the 2025 results. But yeah, no doubt he's someone to keep an eye on because he brings a lot of energy forward of the ball. And yeah, particularly through the middle part of the year for Geelong last year, he was one who showed some really strong form and really capitalised on the opportunities that the Falcons did give their bottom ages in the front half. So yeah, hopefully he does it further up the ground. But I think, yeah, if he does represent Vic country, it'll probably be as that sort of half forward type of player.
We mentioned Rongdit. Jesse Mallow is another Geelong NGA prospect that the Cats fans will keep an eye on. He might have some father sons as well that we'll touch on in a little bit. But along with Mallow, Georgie Richardson, Hamish McGowan, Pep Postorino, Charlie and Archie Hanegraaff, they've got a few names that are going to really look to press their case as certain draft prospects come the end of November.
No doubt, yeah. So Geordie Richardson and Jesse Muller, both sort of forwards who will predominantly play forward, might spend a little bit of time in the midfield. Pep Postorino is an interesting one I'm interested to see how his year unfolds. He got best on ground in an under-18s local grand final last year, I believe, or certainly played very, very well. Just wasn't quite able to crack into the Falcons side regularly. So he's a really dynamic small forward, applies a lot of pressure, and is quite a physical player as well. So he's got a lot of attributes to like. Represented Vic Country at the under-16s national championships in 2023 as well. So hopefully he can take the next step this year and become an established member of that group. And then, Charlie and Archie Hanegraaff, a couple of other names to keep an eye on. Hamish McGowan is a strong-bodied midfielder who showed some good form late stages last year. And then Jagger Mooney and Boston Riccardi, a couple of Geelong father-sons to keep an eye on for Cats fans.
Darcy Harrington, another one that you'll be kind of keen to see how his season unfolds. What kind of role does he bring for the Falcons this year?
Yeah, so he made his debut as a double bottom major last year, played a few games, and is a bottom major this year. Really, really impressive. He actually missed out on Vic Country's under 16s squad, and a surprise omission at that. And I think he proved a fair few people wrong with what he was able to do in the Coates Talent League. He's actually got some midfield time as a double bottom major, which you don't see too often at all. And showed his nous, showed his clean skills below his knees, and was able to seize a couple of really big moments. There's a game that he played at RSCA Park in particular that I remember late stages last year, kicked a couple of goals at critical times, and he's willing to put his body on the line as well. So, just one to watch that, might surprise a few people and set himself up for a strong 26 campaign, hopefully.
What about some of the overages? Noah Carosella was one last year, obviously tied to Essendon as part of their academy and father sons, and then might have a chance to come back again this year as that kind of a lean aerial threat key defender who he also got a good look in the VFL as well.
Yeah, he did, which was really good for his development. I think his ability to get up the ground and use it well for someone his height is something else that bodes well. And then they've got Kobe George, who there was a lot of excitement about what he could produce in 2024 rather, about this time last year. Unfortunately, just had a wretched run with injuries, so we didn't get to see much of him. And the games he did play was he never really got the continuity as a result of that injury or the multiple injuries that he suffered. So he's a really good ball-using defender to keep an eye on as well.
Well, Geelong have probably a pretty tricky start for their season, starting with Dandenong into a game against GWV, and then I think that first 3 games rounds off with a game against Murray. So a bit of travel, some tough opponents coming up for the Falcons, but after a minor premiership campaign last year, they'll be looking to go the distance in 2025. Jonty, thanks again for talking all things Geelong.
No worries. Thanks, Mitch.
You can catch all of our other Coates Talent League previews on zerohanger.com's YouTube page, or you can head to zerohanger.com for all your latest news, views, and opinions as well.